here to do self-development with an astrology lens and a little bit of Buddhism sprinkled in there too. We work with facts, we work with neuroscience, and we do all the things, right? That's what we do here at Jill's Stop Here. Hi. I feel like this thing is like right in my face. Hi. Weird. I hate that. I don't know how to fix my camera so that's not on there. So if you're joining me on TikTok, you know what I'm talking about. Hey there on YouTube. I've got this thing, this pop up on my TikTok screen that's like right here. And so it's like, just get to my face. But it's my gift box. So gifts aren't available on YouTube, but they are on TikTok. So in the gift box, like if you want me to say hi to you, you send the rose. If you want like a heart gesture, there's a heart. Sing and wink, we've got a mushroom, got a galaxy for sing and wink, and like a money or a diamond shooter. I'm going to shoot diamonds. So that's new. Anyway, I have been going live at 5 weekdays, like clockwork, until I'm not, right? So I do not like where this camera is at. It's just like really effing with me. Anyway, I'm changing the time to just I'll be here every day. And I don't know when, because I'm gonna have to, life ebbs and flows, and we need to ebb and flow with it. And so my life has gone a little bit different right now in scheduling. And so I think when I go back to work next week, we're going to end up doing my lives on my lunch breaks, which is going to be interesting. So there won't be this background next week. We'll test it, we'll see how it goes. But just we got to do what we got to do, even if it means we gotta show up at different times. Welcome in. So I'll come around. You'll still see me daily. We're still gonna do our self-development with the astrology lens and build up our women community. So let's come on in. Keep on joining. We're gonna get started here in just a second. And today is Wednesday, August 26th. The lunar eclipse is tomorrow. And tonight we're talking about something that I think is pretty important, and it reframes something that's available to women in a growth period. Hi, Saeed. Thank you for liking the live. Appreciate you. And thank you, Abu, for joining. Appreciate you guys. Welcome in. Make sure you are liking the live, sharing it out, and getting as many people in the room as possible as we go through our self-development portion here today, right? Because we want to make sure that we get as many people in the room to get as much benefit from this free education that I provide here live every single day. So if you know somebody who could benefit from self-development, you should definitely invite them in. I am not happy with the placement of my cameras today. Like everything's weird for me. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm gonna mess with it all day. Anyway, so welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So happy to see everybody. Hi, I'm Jill, and this is your Phoenix Renewal Hour. We go through self-development through an astrology lens. We sprinkle in some Buddhism, and we actually look at the research when we do our self-development that doctors are doing at universities so we can implement the strategies they come up with. I have a dry throat. Oh. Mm. Mm. I don't think I've really been talking yet today. It's almost 1 o'clock in the afternoon here, and I just feel like maybe I've been just by myself all day and not talking. It's weird. I usually am all day long with people at work, and I'm home alone and not talking to anybody. I've been busy. I baked another loaf of banana bread today, went to the gym, And oh, I did a whole lot of business shit with ChatGPT. You know how that is. Hey, Jen. So yeah, it's been a busy day. And yeah, my throat's a little scratchy because I don't think that I've talked to anybody today. So weird. So weird. So weird. Happy you're all here though. We've got a lot going on. Um, so let's see. What do we have tonight? The Aquarius moon gives us an elevated view of our own emotional experience. Hi, welcome in. So glad you're here. Um, let's see what else is happening tonight. We're going to use that emotional experience tonight. Tomorrow is the lunar eclipse, and what you feel tonight is preparation. So come and settle in. We're going to get going here soon. Hi, we're doing our daily Phoenix Renewal Hour. We're looking at self development through an astrological lens, sprinkling some science and Buddhism so we can have a well-rounded free lesson today, right? So quick note, if you are new here, this is a daily live. As I said at the very beginning, we're going to be messing around with the times just because life has happened. And so we're gonna play around with the time. So unfortunately, and the background might change because this might be happening while I'm on my lunch break starting next week. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, we're gonna go through today's astrology here in just a moment. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have an emotional intelligence talk tonight. Why the feelings you were told were too much were actually the most accurate information that you have about yourself. It's the data, right? A specific practice we're going to learn to know how to read those emotions, to gather that data. Okay. All of that's happening today in the next hour. So make sure you stick around. Wow, I don't know how to move this box. It is just like right in my face. I'm really sorry. I can't get that. Want to ask a question? What's your question? Go ahead. Hi, Saba. Hi, Saba. Welcome. Hey, what's everybody up to? All right. So I'm going to start tonight with a question. And I wanted to land before I really give you guys any context on it. So, when was the first time somebody said, "You're just too emotional," right? For most Gen X women in midlife right now in this community, the answer to that question probably came pretty fast. Um, Hi, Sunshine, welcome. Um, oh, yeah, I'm not a fortune teller. Sorry about that, unknown. Can't tell you your fortune. We don't do that here. That's not what this is. So we do self development here. That's what we do. I can't predict your future, but I appreciate you thinking I can. I think that's really cool if people have that ability, but I don't have that. But yeah, being told, "Oh, you're just so emotional." Oh my gosh. Um, did you get a specific memory when I asked you that question? Did you hear a specific voice say it to you? How about a specific moment when the message landed that your emotional experience was a problem to be managed? Your emotional experience being a problem to be managed. I'm not into that. That's not cool. I don't like that. Right? Right? Oh my gosh. No, you're so dramatic. Stop crying. Why are you crying all the time? You're so sensitive. not, it's not bad to feel your feelings, right? And because we are humans and wired for belonging, being told this is so incredibly damaging. So incredibly damaging. Um, as children, social acceptance was genuinely connected to our survival, right? We learned, we managed, we suppressed, right? We suppressed, we developed extraordinary competency at appearing calm, right? Appearing reasonable and unaffected when we were anything but, right? And now, decades later, many of us find ourselves in a new growth period where our emotions just keep surfacing. They just keep coming to the top, right? And it's about the life that we're living, about the choices that we've made, and about who we are and who we want to be. And we still don't know what to do with all of these emotions and what they mean, right? Um, Hi, yes, I'm a teacher. Yeah. Um, so we default by managing our emotions and suppressing our emotions. Okay. Um, and we do this to a story that we believe that our feelings are a problem, and not seeing that our feelings are actually a signal. Okay. And tonight I'm going to give you a completely different framework, one backed by neuroscience, one that reframes every feeling you've ever been told was too much. Okay. So your emotions are not drama, they are data. And tonight we're going to learn how to read that data. So make sure you are liking and sharing this live out so we can get as many people in the room to catch this free training that's going on right now. Hello, make sure you are liking and sharing this live. If you are on TikTok, let's get some more people in the room to go through this free lesson tonight, all right? So let's start with the astrology and how that fits in with all of this, right? So here's what the sky is doing today, and it maps precisely to what we're teaching right now. Okay, the moon is in Aquarius, and the Aquarius moon is one of the most interesting placements for emotional intelligence work because Aquarius gives us the elevated, slightly detached view, the bird's eye perspective, if you will, an ability to observe our own emotional experience from a step back and with curiosity instead of being swept away by it, right? Hi, welcome in. Um, if you if you've been in the Scorpio moon depth, right, of the past week, the raw, the intense personal, emotional excavation work that's been going on, Aquarius moon today feels like coming up for air, right? Coming up for air. It doesn't mean that the depth isn't still there. It means you now have some perspective on it, and the perspective is exactly what emotional intelligence requires. Hi, welcome in. Hmm, interesting. People are interesting. Here we go. Now, hi. All right. So I just had a commenter being rude, so I had to block them. And I will block you as well if you make rude comments. So please make sure you are kind and respectful in all of your comments. In fact, this thing's bugging me so much on this other screen. We're gonna flip my phones around here. Hi. All right. That's a little bit better, huh? Okay. I can see you now. Hey, there you are. Oh, that thing was in my face. I hate having crap in my way. This works much better. All right. Yeah, I'm happy now. Okay. All right. So here we go. Here we go. All right. Let's start. Okay, so Aquarius moon. All right. Aquarius moon is the moon that understands patterns. Okay, not just I feel sad right now. Okay, but I notice I feel sad in situations that share these characteristics, right? That's a little bit different than I feel sad right now. Not just the individual emotion that you're feeling, but maybe noticing the pattern of the emotional response. That pattern recognition is tonight's practice. Hi, Diaz. Oh, Louise, thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's right. We only owe people kindness. I appreciate that. I agree with that very much. So also the sun is forming a quincunx quincunx. I don't know how to say this to Pluto today. Okay. And it's doing the same thing, the word I can't say, to Neptune. So I'm just going to tell you what that means, though. A quincunx is an adjustment aspect. It's an adjustment aspect. It says something needs to shift and how the two energies are relating to each other. So that's a lot easier to understand in that word I can't even say. All right. So the Virgo sun, with its practical discernment and precision, is being asked to adjust its relationship to both Pluto's depths and Neptune's feeling world. So Pluto's got the deepness, and then Neptune is your feelings, your feelings. Hello, welcome, you guys. So funny. All right. So in self-development language, let's talk about it in a different, more practical way, a little bit more of a day-to-day I can understand way, right? The analytical part of you is being asked to make more room for what lives in your inner depths of your feelings. Okay. Thank you, Louise. Thank you. Um, so not to abandon discernment, to expand it to include information that feelings carry. Okay, because Virgo precision without Neptunian, how do you say that? Feeling often becomes analysis paralysis. Analysis paralysis. Who suffers from analysis paralysis? I know so many people that do, and it is absolutely like it is paralysis. It's like having handcuffs on. They can't come to a decision because they're analyzing every little thing. And so they don't make a move because they can't get it straight. They're in analysis paralysis. All right. That is not something that I ever suffer with. In fact, I'm impulsive and I jump to decisions quickly. And then I stick with them though. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm going to be like, I made my choice. So we're doing it. So suck it. Right. So anyway, that's not me. I don't have analysis paralysis. I will kick you in the butt if you have analysis paralysis and be like, go, go, go. I got you. So, oh, okay. Thank you, Saeed. But anyway, so the Neptunian feeling without the Virgo precision becomes overwhelm, right? So today the sky wants both. And so we're gonna figure this out. Don't worry, we're gonna figure it out. If you like this kind of daily astrological guidance, understanding what each transit means for your emotional and personal development, and exactly what to do with it, even. The 2027 Phoenix Renewal Almanac is currently for sale on Kindle and linked in my bio. It's in my link tree. So if that's something you're interested in, I do want to make sure you know that that is available. I finally published it. I got it all down. I broke it down. I did each month and what happens in the whole month, and then each week of the month, and then each day of the month. So if you don't have time to read it every single day, maybe just once a week or once a month, that's kind of how I laid it out. So make sure you do check that out. It is linked in my bio and my link tree, the 2027 Phoenix Renewal Almanac. So make sure you check that out. Anyway, the most important thing that you want to know or need to know about the astrology today is the lunar eclipse in Pisces is tomorrow night. Okay. And tonight is an eclipse eve, if you will, right? The emotions that you are feeling during this time, it's not random. It's part of it. They are precisely the emotions that your body is preparing to release tomorrow during that eclipse. Okay. So Pisces rules feeling, intuition, the boundaryless experience, the deep waters of the unconscious, right? Hi. Okay. Um, a lunar eclipse in Pisces specifically releases emotional patterns. Okay. Things held in the feeling body that have been ready to move for a long time and just maybe have been stuck. Okay. The anxiety that's become habitual, the grief that hasn't found its way out yet. That's always a bummer. The emotional suppression that became automatic so many years ago, right? And to the point where you forgot you had a choice, right? We don't want to do that. And tonight's emotional intelligence work is not separate from eclipse preparation. It is eclipse preparation, okay? Because you cannot release what you cannot first acknowledge, right? Okay, so let's see. The scientific framework that I want to start with tonight comes from Dr. Antonio Damasio. He is a neuroscientist at USC whose research on emotion and decision making fundamentally challenged what the dominant Western assumption that good thinking requires the suppression of feeling. Good thinking requires the suppression of feeling. This was what was taught. Uh, Damasio studied patients who had damage to the area of the brain responsible for emotional processing. Specifically, it's the ventral medial the prefrontal cortex. Basically, I can't say the first word. These patients retained all of their cognitive function. Okay. They could reason, they could analyze, and articulate complex arguments. All right. They tested normally on IQ tests. They had this prefrontal cortex brain damage. Okay. So they could do all of these things I just mentioned. But what could they not do with this brain damage? They became catastrophically poor decision makers for their in their daily lives. Like not just a little bit, like a lot bad at making small decisions or just any kind of decisions for their daily lives. They couldn't prioritize anything. They couldn't choose between options that seemed equally valid. They got stuck in that analysis paralysis that we are talking about. They had endless analysis, no resolution. Crazy, right? His conclusion, which he called the somatic marker hypothesis, was that emotion is not the enemy of good thinking. It is a prerequisite for good thinking. Emotions create what he called somatic markers, body based signals that flag certain options as more or less viable based on prior experience. These markers work faster than conscious thought and carry information that pure analysis cannot access. Wow. So when you suppress your emotional response to a situation, you are not becoming more rational. You are becoming less informed. You are turning off one of the most sophisticated information processing systems available to you. Now, let me translate this into language that applies to your actual life as a woman in a growth period. Okay. The anxiety you feel about a decision is not irrational, it's your nervous system flagging that something about this option is misaligned with your values or for your safety. Okay. Even if you can't really articulate what it is that is giving you pause on making a decision to go that way, right? Okay. The anger that arises when someone crosses a line or is not appropriate, that's your sense of justice accurately identifying that there was a violation. Okay. The grief you feel about an ending, that's not a weakness, right? That's your heart acknowledging that something genuinely mattered. Mhm. The restlessness that won't let you stay comfortable in some kind of situation you've outgrown is not ingratitude or being an unstable person. Okay. It's your authentic self communicating that this context is no longer congruent with who you are becoming. Okay. So none of these are drama. Don't let anybody tell you that it's drama. It's data. Data. Your body is telling you something. It is giving you information before your brain can figure it out. Your body knows and it's telling you. So listen to it, right? So the problem is not that women feel too much. The problem is that most women have never been taught to read what their feelings actually are saying. Instead, they've been taught to manage their feelings, suppress their feelings, or perform their way through feelings. Mhm. And and so this extraordinary, sophisticated information, this system sits largely unused, while the analytical mind spins in loops, right? Trying to figure something out by itself, what the feeling in the body already told it within seconds. The second framework comes from Buddhist teacher and clinical psychologist Dr. Tara Brach, and it provides the practical tool for actually reading the emotional data rather than managing that emotional state, right? The practice is called RAIN, RAIN. Okay, and I want to walk you through what each step is, and you're gonna see what's most useful for you and what isn't. Take it or leave it, right? So R is for recognize. Before you can read the data of an emotion, you have to acknowledge that that emotion is there, right? This sounds obvious, But for women who have spent decades managing away their emotions or suppressing them, the recognition step is often skipped. So we need to remember to recognize that there is an emotion and it is there. Okay. Um, the emotion arises and the management response will kick in, right? That just happens automatically because that's what we've been doing. Mhm. Before you can consciously register what you're even feeling. Okay. So recognize means pause and then ask, what am I actually feeling right now? What is this feeling? Not, what do I think about the situation? That's not the question. Not, what should I feel? Mm-mm. What am I actually, honestly feeling in this moment right now? That's the question. Okay. Name it if you can. Okay. But even if you can't name it, that's okay. Acknowledging that the presence of that emotion is there is a good first step. Okay. Knowing and acknowledging something's here, something's happening. And then A is for allow. This is probably one of the hardest steps for most people, and especially for women who have been conditioned that certain feelings are not allowed. Allow means let it be there. Don't fight it. Don't suppress it. Don't try to fix it or even try and justify it. None of that, right? Allow means just let it be. Let it be there. Okay? Let it exist. You have a feeling, you have an emotion, you're acknowledging it, and you're going to allow yourself to have that emotion. You're going to feel it. Okay? The paradox of the emotional experience, confirmed by research, is that the feelings we fight tend to grow, right? The feelings we allow move, those tend to move, right? So resistance is the thing that makes the emotion sticky, right? Permission is what lets it flow. Mhm. And then the next letter is I. I is for investigate. This is where you become the scientist of your own emotional experience. You get curious rather than reactive. You ask, where do I feel this emotion in my body?